Okay, so in this exercise, what we are doing is we have two VMs. One is the registry.example.com, which is having 1.10 IP, and the other VM is 1.11 DevOps VM, which we use every day. Okay, so first I have connected to 1.10 and 1.111, both the VMs I have created. So using hostname CTL command, we can set the host name. Okay, so the steps are already given in the document. So using this, we can set the host name. So I'll do it again, no problem. So I'm setting host name for registry.example.com like this. If I check with the hostname command, it will show. You'll have to do Control D so that it reflects here. Okay, I don't have to do it because it's already reflecting registry.example.com. Similarly, we can set the host name for the other VM, that is devopsvm.example.com, and in both the VMs we have to make this entry cat/etc host. These two lines should be there. The other lines means only these three lines should be there. The top three lines, others you can keep. Okay, similarly here cat/etc host will have this three line, so that when we ping with the IP host name, we can access it. Similarly, I can access DevOps VM on registry.example.com. We'll have to install Docker apt get install docker.io. So in my case, the Docker is already installed. If it's not installed for you, you all can install it on registry.example.com, not on DevOps VM. DevOps VM we already have it, and now we'll just run the container. The container is, so we are creating a new container and giving it as a name Docker registry, and it will create the container from this image registry, the latest version of the registry. So registry is the name of the image, okay, which will act as a Docker registry for us. And here we are seeing a new option called restart always.
So how do you
Restart,
know the registry is the latest image?
I found, I have given the latest tag to it.
Oh,
I,
that's the latest one. We will take latest one.
yes.
Okay.
And this restart means even if the VM gets restarted, the container will restart. If you don't use this option, the container will be in a stop state until we start it. And the registry works on port 5000 by default inside the container, but to the outside the world, I'll map it on port 80, and -d means run it in a detached mode. Okay, so it doesn't have the registry locally, so it is downloading from Docker Hub. Okay, so it downloaded the image. If you see sudo docker images, okay, so it downloaded the latest registry image, and if you see, it is also running the container, which acts as our container registry, and as it is mapped on port 80, it is showing here 80 listening on all the interfaces. So let's test the connectivity. In Docker Hub we have GUI, okay, but here we do not have the GUI, it is all command line. So using curl command, I'll check if the connectivity is okay. 200 means the connectivity is okay. Okay, and similarly check the connectivity on the host name as well, host name of the registry. So from DevOps VM, if I try to do curl, the 200 response every time, the if the website gives 200 response, it means the connectivity is okay. Okay, we do not have GUI, so everything from the command line, from localhost, and also on the host name. Now we'll have to create our custom image which we want to push it to the container registry. For that, on a DevOps VM, create an app directory, mkdir app. Okay, I'm creating it on DevOps VM. Okay, so go to that app directory. I think it's not given in the notes, but remember you have to create an app directory inside your current directory, and there you create two files. One is index.html. As always, index.html is our code which we'll use it in our custom image and to create, so I didn't copy it properly. Okay, so the index.html is ready. Now just create a Docker file which will help us in creating a custom image, and this custom image will be pushing to the container registry which we created just now. Okay, so what it says, run nginx, download the nginx base image, and in usr share nginx html, copy this index.html and run the nginx daemon. So the command to create the image is sudo docker build. Okay, and we'll give it a tag. So in while giving it a tag, we'll give it as registry.example.com slash app1 colon version 1 and dot means search for a docker file in a current directory. Okay, so this is the command which we are using, registry.example.com app1.v1. So we can also give app1, but it is always better to give the registry name as well in it. So version 1 we are creating. So on this we just installed this container called docker registry. The other things everything we are doing on other VM, that is DevOps VM. Okay, so if you do sudo docker images, we created version 1 of app1 and giving it a name registry.example.com app1 version 1. Now what we'll do is we'll just push sudo docker push, okay, this version 1. Okay, and when we push, if you see, it is giving connection refuse because by default it needs an https connection, because but we haven't created a https connection as it is for demo purpose. Okay, so we'll have to make it run insecurely. Okay, so this is not recommended in production, but just for testing purpose we are doing. So on DevOps VM itself, we'll have to define that registry.example.com can run on port 80 as well. For that, we'll have to make this entry in this new file needs to be created on DevOps VM itself as a root. Okay, so I became a root using sudo su, and in that I'm adding this 4 lines that I'm defining here, that registry.example.com, you can use it as an insecure registry, that is run it on port 80, and it won't give this error now. But for that we need to restart the docker service because we made some changes in the configuration related to docker. So restart is required, otherwise it will not work. So after restart sometimes it fails, so also always check it is running properly. So active running, that means the changes are proper. Now just log out as a root. Okay, and again push it. Okay, now it will start pushing it to the container registry, registry.example.com, that is on this container. It is trying to push the image. Okay, So it has pushed the image, okay, but we do not know how to check it. Okay, we do not have a GUI. It is all command line. Docker Hub gives us the command GUI interface. Okay, but here the method would be check the catalog. Okay, this catalog we need to check. In catalog it is showing an app1 repository is created, so just app1 is pushed there. Okay, so this is how we build image or custom image using Docker build. Okay, then we do sudo docker push command. Okay, the building image which we build, we will push it. Okay, and later on you all the other people can also pull it, docker run, or they can directly use docker pull command, docker pull or docker run. So actually in docker these three commands are very important. When we'll start this building this CI/CD pipeline, we'll be using the same approach. We'll create our custom application, we'll build an image, push it to some container registry, and then run it. Okay, but most of the time it will be Kubernetes, but these three commands are very important. Whatever a container registry it may be, we'll be using the same command, docker build and docker push. Okay. So if you see now, let's test one more thing. Docker ps-a. If you see, there is no image running now. Okay, and we have some images here. Let's remove it, otherwise it will conflict and we won't come to know from where it took the image. So I'll just remove it. Docker rmi, both the container images I'll remove. Okay, so if you see, there are no images here and no containers running on it. Now we know which image we pushed just now, right? So let's check it. In catalog we know we have app1. So what we will do is sudo docker pull. Okay, we know the registry name, registry.example.com. Okay, and app1 version 1. Just try to pull it. Okay, no dot not required.
So need to log in to
No,
authenticate.
no, 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 not required because it is a public repo by default. It was slash was required here.
Oh, public repository, no need to log in.
Yes. So HTTP. We just now declared it as insecure, so it should pull. I forgot .com. Okay, it will work. It works. See, registry.example I gave. It was registry.example.com. So from where it is pulling, the same container which stored it. And if you do now sudo docker images, okay, we have the image. Now we can run it, docker run in a detached mode. Let's for testing don't okay, I'll map it on port 8088. Inside the container it's running on port 80 and use the version 1 image. Okay, docker run. Okay, sudo docker ps and curl localhost 8088. 8088. Okay, so this was the simple HTML app which we created. Okay, so that's it for this exercise.